Hey guys, back again. There's just a couple things I wanted to do on this game that I'm working on in order to get it to run a little bit more smoothly. Right now, I've got it to run and I have some turning going on and stuff like that, but I wanted to, I think that it's mostly okay, but I wanted to add an idle thing to an animation script that I'm working on. So if you're into coding and all that stuff, then I guess you could probably watch and see what goes on with that. But yeah, I've just been trying to, in terms of coding, I have been working on some stuff that will allow the code to look a little bit better. And so basically, I'm just embedding functions, but what I wanted to do is pass the animator along to this function that I'm using so that I can see if it will be able to talk to the animator in this program. So I guess that is basically it. I have to go to the player script to do that. So let's see what goes on here. If I can grab a little bit of code from some of this other stuff that I'm working on, which is up here. Let's see if the animator is in here. Um, let me find out. Let's see if I've got any extra code that I could scalp from myself. Um, so required component type of animator, which don't necessarily need, but actually no, I'll skip that and see if there is a request for the animator. So anim equals get component animator. I'll take that over into my script, and as it starts, it will ask for the animator, which will be anim, and I need to go ahead and define an animator, which will be anim. So it will ask for that, and what I will do is I have a function down here called move state, which is embedded in one of my managers that I have, and I'll just say anim, and I'll go over here to move state and ask for an animator, which will be animator. Anyway, this is good practice. Even if I don't use it in this function, I want to be able to get a hold of the animator and do stuff if I have to. So let's see, I have this logic here that says if strafe is less than 0.5, the rigid body is going to move less than 0.5, which means when I'm using the controller, if it's at halfway, the rigid body will, if it's less than that, it will say rigid body times delta rotation, which means it will rotate. But if it is more than 0.5, it will, which means just as I'm taking off, if I'm also turning, it will turn, which is good. I like that movement. Let's just go back and look at it a little bit, see just what that means. It means if I'm just taking off, it'll turn, which is pretty cool animation. But if I actually press left or right, for some reason it's not moving. Actually, yeah, now it's doing some kind of weird turn, so that's not really what I want. So needless to say, there's a lot more involved than what you might think. And I'm by no means an expert here in the coding area, but I definitely need to do some things in here that will allow the animator to act more normally. So let's see, if strafe is less than 5, another thing I want to do is say if we have strafe and translation. Translation is what's going to move it forward. So I'm just going to say if translation Uh, now I want to say if vertical. Okay, so I've used strafe, but I want to try and see if that probably needs to be horizontal. So that's another thing. I probably used the wrong term. So if translation is equal to or less than 0, is less than or equal to 0, I want the animator to anim dot set boolean, and that boolean is going to be an idle, which I think I have set up already. That'll be idle to true, and then else it'll be anim set will probably need to do something. Well, this will probably work. Else set bool idle to false, of course. We all know that. And so I will go to this animator and think about this animator. Do I have this defined wrong? Or let's see, it's not acting right. Horizontal. Okay, that'll do it every time. Horizontal. 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 Oh well. Maybe something is wrong. We'll see. Let's go to the compiler. Let's go to the console. See what it has to say about my spelling. For some reason, there doesn't seem to be any error. Unexpected symbol true. Maybe I did not. Unexpected. Oh, fatal error. Well, good thing I saved it. So I will quickly close that and open it right back up. And as a matter of fact, while I'm doing that, let us go to the animator and see if there's something wrong with the animator. And I think I set up this avatar to use a humanoid uh, format. And I think I'm going to switch it back to generic since I had so many problems with the humanoid on this particular robot. So that's another thing that's really annoying about Unity is that it only allows you to set up humanoid avatars and really work with those, but I'm not seeing the animator window, which is not good. Oh, there it is. Okay, animator window. If I go back to Mohawk, I'm trying to do too much at the same time, but don't worry about it. It's just something that I end up doing, but attack, I'll want to get rid of. Layer, attack layer, I want to delete that because there's not going to be an attack right now. So hopefully it'll be on the base layer. And I'll go in here, zoom into my animator, which you probably can't see on the screen because it's really small. And let's see what I have set up here. I have a parameter and it's called idling. So maybe I'll change that to idle. And that'll be good. It's a Boolean. And I have my script back here, which says player use load from autosave. I didn't want to do that, did I? Oh, no, okay, that's fine. Okay, so move state. I'm back here. It says idle, so maybe I'll change this to capital I so it won't mess up. So if translation is less than 0, idle is true. If it's more than 0, then it should be false. So let's see what happens in the animator when I press these keys. Let's see, I have this Boolean set up here to go to run, and if idle is false, and I have it set back to go back to idle if it's true. So let's watch and see if it actually works. And so there seems to be a compiler error. So let's go back and see. Hopefully there's not a fatal error going on. Unexpected true, which I forgot to put the comma. Y'all should have told me. Okay, well, anyway, let's go back and see what happens. So press play. Something wrong. Move strafe. Move and strafe takes 4 arguments. An animator, blah blah blah. You know, I could have sworn I put that in here when I came back here. So move strafe, vertical, horizontal, character, animator, anim. I'll just save it and see if it recognizes me. Takes 4 arguments. Let's see if it updates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 arguments there. Quite obviously there is. This takes 4 arguments. Where am I at here? Where does it say that? Character. Character, game object, find object, what type, player. And this is in the update. Okay, so I'll have to put this down in the update function, probably. That's wrong, because it always wants to know every time where something is. I'll probably end up having to put this in a fixed update, which won't take too long, but let's see if that was the problem. And what do you say? Okay, so that was the problem. What if we go and hit play, and it's already running, so there's something, definitely some issue going on here. I've definitely set this up and everything, but for some reason this animator is not responding the way it should. So that is not good. I have everything set up here. Sometimes this thing is just acts crazy, so that's my excuse tonight. But I need to maybe go ahead and set up this player or this avatar as non-humanoid, because a lot of times maybe that's really the issue here, is that the import settings are set to, the rig is set to humanoid, and really what I want to do is just probably duplicate this, because I want to try and experiment with IK a little bit later. So I'm gonna try and duplicate it. Control D click? Yeah. Okay, so I have that one, and this is the one I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this back to the generic setting, so that it's not going to try and do anything funky like use a run multiplier. I think I had a run multiplier on here, and root motion. You know, these are the types of things that can go wrong. So I'll just take root motion down and see, once I hit play, it'll just act like a normal. Nope, it immediately went to my run. So let's see if I'm still using this. I'm using Mohawk 1 as my controller. So what if I go ahead and just put this one on here really quick and see what happens? So I will put the regular one on there, which has all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm just gonna hit play and see what happens. I don't think I have any sort of anything sort of set up to do anything except for maybe just move around a little bit. But I will go to this main state and see what's tied into it. It's gone to this main state, and let's see, it's first, I'm going to have to actually enlarge this window for me to see it. I know it's hard for you to see it, but it's really difficult for me to see. So I will try and enlarge it just a little bit more so I can see where I'm going here. Okay, so the first thing it says is it goes to this bot, which is an idle, and I have it set to run, and I'm going to maybe just play around real quick to see if I can delete these parameters and get it to go into an idle. And what I have is actually this one has a whole different set of parameters to it. And I'm going to add that same idle logic here so that it'll be able to talk to this script. So I have an idle now, and if I go to idle and I say if idle is true, run, and if no one knows, don't ask me about that error. I think it was the humanoid thing that was causing it, which can cause all kinds of funny stuff to happen if you have your avatar set to humanoid and you're not using just a generic motion capture type of guy, then you're gonna have some problems probably. But I have idle set to false and true, and this other one is all kinds of other stuff, which will never happen if you're using the script that I'm using. So as I hit play, it goes to, oh my goodness, what is this? It's headed to, actually, no, it's staying in the normal bot mode. So how about I hit forward and nothing happens? Okay, that's wonderful. So it doesn't recognize idle. It's not talking to my script for some reason. And I have this rigid body on there, a capsule collider. Player controller is there. Uh, Player controller, that might be my problem. I'm using a player script, and I'm using player controller to move it, which is, you know, I guess if you put the wrong script on there, then it's not going to work. So if I hit player, we'll see what happens. So once again, it goes immediately. Okay, no, it's actually talking to it a little bit. So for some reason, it's having the opposite effect. And let's see if maybe that is because I have, do I have a run multiplier on there? No. Do I have a speed is 1? So there shouldn't be anything here that's causing it any problems here. Maybe if I break the connections here, and that will be better, but no, it's having the opposite effect. So go back to the script and see if there was something that I can do about that. Okay, so if horizontal is greater than, it's less than 0.5, move the rotation, it's doing that. And it is talking to the script here by saying, and this is in move state, so, but it's still in this function. So I'm saying translate less than or equal to 0. So how about just translate is less than 0, or translate is less than 0, less than or equal to 0, less than like 0.2 or something, 0.02. Maybe that'll work. Animate set bool idle to true if it is less than 0.2, and else if greater than 0.2. I'm just going to say that just because, you know, that might happen. hook that up, see if that'll do right. Sometimes it'll just fuzz up the values and that type of thing. I don't know why it does that, but just have to get used to it. Let's see, so if it's greater than 0.2 f, and I'll go back here and see if it'll talk to me again. So it probably will, but it won't do it right. Nope, it's not doing it quite right. Huh. Yeah, so anyway, as you can see this week, having these problems with my character. um, and as I press no, it's going yes, and if I press yes, it's going no. And this is the kind of thing I try when that happens. I just reverse everything. Let's see what happens, because there's no telling what this computer is up to right now. Um, so I'll just see what it does when I do that. If it'll act right, you know what I mean? Still have it as true. I'm just gonna hit play. I always have to go over my logic like a couple of hundred times. And for some reason, it is acting right in the reverse situation. But it is taking it a while to fire for some reason. Um, yeah, so see, I've got it going right now, and it's set to idle is set to false, or idle is set to true, right? Okay, so if I hit, if it's greater or whatever, idle will be set to true. And these other conditions, like if it's less than 0, it's not going to do anything because um, I haven't got a backwards animation yet, and also I'm trying to set up also a side animation, which will, move it to the side. As you can see right now, I'm pressing horizontally and it moves it to the side, which is kind of cool. And I really like the fact that it rotates, when I'm at a certain value as well. But I'm going to also see about that as well. So if it's horizontal and it's less than 0.5, it is going to rotate. But what if I say if it is greater than 0.5? So that means the movement will be, it'll only rotate after a couple of seconds. That's what should happen. So we'll see if that works. So it obviously is greater than 0.5, but it needs to be lowered a bit because, well, no, it is doing it, but it just needs to, I think it was better at less than 0.5 because I could immediately take off in a certain direction. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still working on this and trying to get it just right for you guys, as you can see. But thing about that is that whenever I move to the side, it's actually running. It's still running, but that's not what I'm going to do in the end. I want it to kind of run to the side and do that type of thing. So it's kind of an intricate um, thing. I'm not going to be able to program everything, do everything in this episode, but I guess in future episodes I'll probably show a little bit more of the kind of things that I'm having to go through in terms of coding and getting this thing together and stuff like that. But yeah, that's really it for this week. It's going to be pretty cool, I think. Once I get some other stuff going and that type of thing. See, I went to the floor. But I will talk to you guys later, and y'all have a good weekend and all that type of thing. Hope everything goes the way you want it to, unlike this program. So take care.